it can't be the make or break thing. It's like, if I put the last $500 I have into this, I'll get $50,000 back. If I don't, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. It can't be the total reliance. If that's the case, that's a dangerous game.
When you do double down on directly profitable activities, you really not only make money with that hour, but you also don't spend any money in that hour. So not only are you making that $20, you're also not spending any money either. So it's kind of it's a hypothetical $40, so to speak.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1779, paying for certainty is sometimes worth it. Had a little trip to the movies this weekend. Friday.
I was actually very eager to hear from you and Taryn about this movie.
Twisters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I love the first one.
Unfortunately, I have nothing to give you.
Yes.
Due to the story I'm going to tell you. So, Alan, myself, Emilia, Taryn, the family units that we have together, have been trying to save money. Try to save as much money as possible, because at times when we make more money, we spend more money, and there's been a lot of expenses, and the team has grown, and all very, very good things, but life has gotten quite expensive. So we're trying to focus on saving money. And Tara and I had a plan. We're going to go to the movies on Friday. That's going to be our date night. Friday, I'm working till 6. We'll do a 7 o'clock show, 7:15. It's going to be great. I was still dieting, so it was like, you can have popcorn or whatever. I'll probably just get nothing. But it's okay. We're going to go to the movies. We're going to see Twisters. So we were getting ready to buy tickets. And Taryn said, I have AAA. And since I have AAA, I can get $30 tickets for, I think, $15.
Nice.
So we're going to save 50%. She said, the only downside is we can't buy our tickets in advance. So we can buy quote-unquote tickets, but we can't pick where we sit. And I said, okay, how does that work? And she said, well, when you buy the tickets, it's essentially you're buying 2 tickets, and then when you go to the movie theater, you can go to any movie you want. I was like, all right, that sounds pretty cool. I said, just an FYI, I think Twisters is like the #1 movie in the world right now. So Friday night at 7 o'clock, we might get there and there might not be any seats. And I said, but that's up to you. Normally, I would probably say we should pre-order, but I know we're trying to save money, and in the spirit of trying to save money, I'm open to whatever. And she said, all right, let's ride the lightning. Sometimes we say that when we stay up later than we should. You want to ride the lightning? I said, all right, let's ride the lightning. Let's see what happens. So worked Friday, got off an interview at 6, right around 6. We hung out for a little bit, played with the cats for a little bit. The movie theater's only like 20 minutes down the road. So we go to the movie theater, we get our tickets, quote unquote, and we go to the front, to the box office. And we said, hey, 2 for Twisters, whatever the hell it's called. We don't have real tickets. We have these AAA tickets, and then they said we could just choose our seats when we got here. And they said, ooh, front row only at this point. And I said, interesting. That was my guess. I thought
Total
that might
shocker.
happen. Total shocker. And we said, yeah, no worries. Give us 1A and 2A. Ain't nothing but a G thing. That's fine. No biggie. I've sat in the front row before. This is nothing. So we get, I think Taryn got something, I don't know, some sort of drink. And we go walk into the movie theater, and it's like, oh, this is a cool theater. This is nice. The screen is like curved. It's like, this is going to be great. And we keep walking, and we find our seats. Super comfy. Very comfortable seats. Sit down, recline, and then when I tell you, it was like I was looking up at the ceiling. So if you're on YouTube, you can see this is kind of what I was literally looking up this high. And I tried to take a picture of it, but you just couldn't. The picture actually made it look really good. Because the way the light was, there was a reflection.
And the iPhone with the
iPhone
wide lens.
Yeah. So we had a giggle about it, and I said, okay, here we are at the movies. We're gonna do it. And Taryn was like, babe, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm sorry, we messed up. And I said, no, we're here. I don't really care. It's not the end of the world, and these seats are comfortable. I'm probably gonna fall asleep anyway because I'm tired. No worries. And then we got to the point where we both agreed, honestly, we're not going to stay. I'm getting a headache from looking up at this screen. I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. I feel like I'm in the movie.
I feel like I'm in the Twister.
It was just not. Well, we didn't even get to that. We were at the previews. So we were like, all right, we're going to leave. And we went out, and she was like, let's just try to get our money back. And you know me, I hate that. I hate confrontation. So I'm like, no, I mean, it's only $15. It's not the end of the world. She's like, let's get our money back.
Nice.
So we went up, and I said, hey, we didn't realize the front row was like in the screen. Is there any way we can exchange these and maybe we'll come back to another movie? And they're like, yeah, for sure.
We didn't realize.
We didn't realize we were going to be in the movie.
That we were, we didn't want to be in the middle of the Twisters.
And then we were walking to the car, and Taryn's like, do you want to say you told me so? And I said, no. I don't know. I'm weird with stuff like that. It didn't bother me at all. I don't care. I'm glad we had the date night planned. I'm glad we got to go experience it. It was funny. I had a good time. Then we went for a cruise, and then we went to get ice cream. Ice cream was cash only. Didn't have any cash, so we didn't get any ice cream. And then we came home, and I don't know if we watched a movie or something when we got home. But so the point of this is
solid date day.
So it was a solid. I told Taryn when we got home, I said that was one of my favorite date days ever. Seriously. Like, we were holding hands in the car, singing together. It was awesome. The windows were down. It was beautiful out. Nice. Sunset. It was like one of the most picturesque sunsets ever. So
Best things in life are free.
Yeah, they are. So that's kind of where we came up with this. The thought for this episode is, yeah, awesome. You want to save money? Awesome. Love it. There are some things that might be worth. There is some level of certainty that you might want to pay for.
Yeah.
Parking is always one for me. If I can advance pay parking somewhere and it's $2 more, I'd rather do that. I'd rather just do that because at least I know I'm going to have a parking spot when we go wherever. Or I love making reservations. I'm a huge fan. If I go somewhere to eat, I want to make reservations because I don't want to get there and then be hungry and, I can't wait to get the whatever. Oh, yeah, no, we don't have any seats. I'm going to wait 2 hours? No, I don't want to wait 2 hours. I'm going to go to the Cheesecake Factory. There's always seats there. Those are big places. So, just an example.
So, just to clarify something, Kev, when you mentioned us, we're going to do an episode on this tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Earn more, spend less is the equation for financial abundance. It really is that simple. Earn more, spend less. Obviously, we're trying to do that equation better. But it's not just out of scarcity. It's out of wanting to buy homes. We want to upgrade our life over the next couple of years. Me, Amelia, you, and Taryn. So a lot of this is goal-oriented as well. It's not just scarcity. Right?
Yes.
And so what Kev's really referring to here, and we kind of talked behind the scenes about this, when is it optimal to spend the extra money? In this case, obviously, in hindsight, you spend the extra $15, make sure you can actually see the film. I almost wish you did. I could have comped your ticket, and that way I could get a nice review from you guys on whether or not I should go see it. I'm obviously joking. But there's a couple lessons in all this, and number one is make the best of it. I think you've always done a good job at that.
Try. I didn't care. It's like whether we see the movie or not. I have no skin in the game. I don't care if we see the movie or not. Really, I've heard it's a good movie. Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Well, we can't get ice cream. It's not the end of the world. I don't really care that much.
Better for the diet.
It was definitely. I mean, I was gonna get ice cream anyway, really, but that's just we attempted to do what we intended on doing. I'm good with that. If we go somewhere and the place is closed, it's like I'm pretty sure we drove like an hour and a half one time years ago to go someplace and it was closed. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It's all, no worries. Go somewhere else or we can just go home. Whatever.
A lot of people would consider that like a ruined day. A lot of people have a really hard time with that. I dated someone in the past that I always struggled because when things didn't go our way, which is life, I think that's life. Mm-hmm. They would handle it very poorly. And why do you think that you are so okay with that?
Because I don't really care whether we do it or not in the first place. Not that I don't care, but it's like if you said to me, hey, we're going to a restaurant and we get to the restaurant, we have to go to a different restaurant and I didn't know anything about the restaurant, it's like, yeah, whatever. It's still food. Just going to a different place with a different menu. Like, we can go see the movie another time. It's not the end of the world. We got our money back. That's cool. We can go see it next weekend. In my mind. I don't know. I'm weird with stuff like that, I think.
Well, to bring it back to the original point, when is it time to pay the extra money for the certainty? And when is that not optimal? And this is one of the reasons why it's so hard to be a podcaster or a coach or a trainer or a speaker. I would say coach a little less, but group coaching can be challenging in this. You're speaking to 10 different individuals in group coaching, and the context of their circumstances dictates whether or not... Group coaching is a great investment. But if you have no money and can't afford groceries, it's not.
Yeah, we've never been that business, though, that says, like, if you're down to your last $10, you should spend it at NLU. It's like, no, you shouldn't. Nope.
Definitely not.
I don't think you should. I think you should
Let's
hang
talk
on to
about
that. You should hang on to that $10. We talked about this recently. Did we already talk about it? You
thought we did a finance episode recently, and then you went and researched. It was a year
yeah,
ago.
I'm all over. I'm all over. I can't believe we're almost at 1,800. It feels like we were just at 1,700.
Are we gonna do 100 wrap up?
No, probably not.
What did we? No.
No, I feel like we only do those every 500 now.
Okay.
Every 100's like, when you get to a certain point. When you get to 1,000, you can't do them every 100 anymore.
We should do a 2024 wrap up for sure. Let's do a half 7-month in wrap up of 2024. 2024 has been, you started off with shingles.
I did start off with shingles. I can't believe that was only...
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even make
2024 has
sense.
been very challenging. 2023 in hindsight was really good. 2022 was wild. 2021 was tail end of COVID-ish, middle of COVID. Yeah. Anyways.
You asked me a question. I don't remember what it was.
The question was... Okay, so group coaching, for example.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because there's a lot of people out there that would say, oh my goodness, you're down to your last $5,000. All right, cool. If you're down to your last $5,000, you should buy this course and it'll teach you how to make $1 million. It's like, most likely won't, though. Most likely won't. It costs $5,000, but you're probably not going to make $5,001. Most likely. Who says it's a good course? Why? How do I know I'm going to make money with it? How do I know you just didn't put it together on a Saturday because you wanted to make $5,000, son? I think people are weird with stuff like that. Very weird.
So let's go into why. Okay, so when is group coaching optimal? Not group coaching, but metaphorically. Okay.
When you're okay if you invest the money and you get nothing out of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think
that's
Yep. Because, again, at NLU, we always do our best to make sure that that's not the case. And if you don't have a bad experience, let us know. We'll give you your money back. But again, it's not just we're not talking specifically about NLU. Yeah, it can't be the make or break thing. It's like, if I put the last $500 I have into this, I'll get $50,000 back. If I don't, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. It can't be the total reliance. If that's the case, that's a dangerous game.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. I bought a course for $600 called Jumpstart. I think it was 2 payments of $299. And it was a 6-week course, I want to say. And this was back in Q1 or the beginning of Q2. And I remember thinking to myself, this was right on the edge. The course that I really wanted was $8,000. And again, we could have done it, but it's not optimal. And someone would say, well, why not? It's going to make you more money. It's a business course. Well, if my business was making $6 million this year, then you're right. That would be optimal.
Yeah.
Of course, that would be optimal. So everything is relative. It's like, well, why don't you have a mansion on the beach? Well, because that mortgage payment is not doable right now. I think that that's one thing that I would teach our younger selves if we could go back. It's being an adult, you have to make decisions that are optimal. And when you're a kid, so for example, I got an Xbox. The very first Xbox when it first came out was $300 way back. And I got that for an early Christmas present. And each game was what, $60, something like that, 50 or $60 back then.
At least 50, yeah, at least 50.
Yeah. And when you're a kid, there's no There's no downside to that, really. You don't have to pay bills when you're 11 or whatever. So it's almost like we learn that we can get stuff without paying for it when we're young. And I think this is why people who grow up in abundance sometimes struggle with money, because they learn that you can get stuff without paying for it in a way. And that's a whole other conversation. But it is optimal for an 11-year-old to get an Xbox but imagine if instead of getting me that Xbox, my mom sat me down and said, hey, you got to go work to make that $300. I think that would have taught me a lot more. I
feel like we've lost the plot of the episode completely at this point.
A little bit. I think it's about earning more money and spending less money.
That's the next episode, you son of a bitch.
Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah, you lost the plot completely.
I did. I merged them completely.
That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Fair. That's why I said you lost the plot, because I realized you did. I'm trying to think of good examples of this. Because it's hard. Maybe it's not about certainty, because that's what I was talking. That was the direction. Paying for certainty is sometimes worth it. Maybe it's not paying for certainty. Maybe it's okay. So I used to live with Matt. You've heard about Matt if you listen to this podcast. Matt and I lived together for, I don't even know, 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years. I moved in with him right when the year before I was going to leave my job. I didn't know I was going to leave my job at this point, but I knew I was miserable, and I figured, well, maybe if I move in with him, I can save money, and if that happens, it'll make life easier. And when I moved in with him, it was a top and bottom duplex. We were going to live in the bottom, and we were going to renovate the upstairs. And he was going to make it an income property, and eventually he then has both the units occupied, and he lives somewhere else. And we would be working all Saturday and all Sunday. And we would order food and we would get it delivered even if it was more expensive. Like DoorDash, we would do all of that. Didn't matter. Because in our minds, I would rather pay for the extra time for us to work on this house. We have so much momentum. I'm going to have to change my clothes to get in my car because I have paint all over myself. Then we're going to have to go down to the place. Both of us are probably going to go. Then when we get back, we're not going to want to start again. And it's just going to be a pain in the butt. Let's just get the food delivered. Take 15 minutes and eat quick, and then get back to work. Well, you're paying for convenience at that point. Now, is that optimal if we're both trying to save money and we're just sitting there in our pajamas on a Sunday and we have nothing but time? No, it's just not as optimal. And that's why it's a very strange time, because not anybody, but most of you, whether you're watching or listening, depending on where you live in the world, have access to DoorDash and Grubhub. Those are very successful companies, but they're not very successful companies because people only use them when it's optimal.
Yeah.
They're very successful companies because a lot of people use them just for convenience, and it's actually they're just paying for laziness. And again, I'm guilty of this just as much as anybody else. But I've made a conscious decision. If I'm going to order food, Kev, you're really going to pay $6 for someone to bring this to you? Or $10, depending on how much is that convenience worth it? That's whether it's convenience, certainty, time. Is it worth it? Is the trade-off worth it? Is the conversation.
So there's 3 buckets of money that I teach my clients, and it's very, very simple, very, very important. The first one is directly profitable. The second one is indirectly profitable. And then the third one is not profitable. So you and Matt sitting in your pajamas ordering DoorDash is not profitable.
It's a good time, though.
Unless you're having a business conversation, in which case it probably is. But you two playing Call of Duty, shooting the shit in your pajamas.
We had a lot of business conversations. Thank you very much.
I know. I understand.
Also, just so you know, sorry to interrupt you, I'm switching the episode. We're not going to do the finance one next because we can't. So I'm going to put it.
Much.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, it's the same episode. You know what I mean? So I'll give us a day. I'll give us a buffer.
Okay.
Just want to let you know.
Cool. All right. So the first one is directly profitable. Second one is indirectly profitable. Third one is not profitable. I sit my clients down, business coaching, and I have a little digital asset that has 3 plants on it. Which plant are you watering? That's the idea here.
Mm.
So if Kevin and Matt are sitting in their pajamas ordering DoorDash, it's not optimal to spend an extra $50 for convenience when they could easily just do it themselves. That kind of thing. So what the idea is, everyone out there watching or listening, since this is just becoming a finance wealth creation episode, health, wealth, and love, Kevin and I sat down and we just haven't done wealth that much.
We have not.
And he also obviously had a fascinating wealth conversation with the Twisters going, and I didn't realize we were going to be in the movie. So ask yourself, what are the activities that you do that are directly profitable? That's going to work, being paid for the work that you're doing. If you're in your own business, it's doing the coaching or doing the freelancer work or audio editing or whatever it is, okay? Then there's indirectly profitable, which right now, the podcast, Kevin and I, this is indirectly a profitable endeavor because it leads to business success. So for you, that could be prospecting, that could be meeting people, networking event, whatever. It could be even personal development, technically. If you're sitting there doing personal development, maybe you get DoorDash so you don't lose focus in this metaphor. Then there's not profitable activities. This is the stuff that is just for fun, that just isn't profitable. Now, one more short thing, I know we got to jump. One of the things that I find the most profound is that when you are doing directly profitable things, you're so engaged in that activity that you're not spending money. Usually. So it's actually, let's say you make $10 an hour, or we'll do $20 an hour. Okay, you make $20 an hour. I have a client of mine that does Uber Eats for extra capital. Okay, when she's doing Uber Eats, she's also learning. And she's not spending money. So she's learning and doing Uber Eats, driving for Uber Eats, and she's not spending. One of the reasons why I think people end up struggling financially is because they don't understand that being someone who works a lot actually saves you money while you're making money. Because when you're sitting around doing not much, you actually end up spending a lot of money. Being leisurely and enjoying your day you end up just finding ways to spend money. I think we've all been there. So when you do double down on directly profitable activities, you really not only make money with that hour, but you also don't spend any money in that hour. So not only are you making that $20, you're also not spending any money either. So it's kind of, it's a hypothetical $40, so to speak.
Amazon, it's a dangerous game. Be calling your name. Man. You're just sitting there. Next thing you know, you're browsing Amazon for something, anything.
You're on Facebook, targeted advertisements. I always joke about these pip decks that I bought. Facebook got me, man.
Facebook got you.
Yeah, Facebook got me. Facebook advertisement got me.
Son of a bee.
Yeah. But if I was focused on directly profitable activities, I wouldn't have been on Facebook. Being bored is part of the reason why we spend money we don't have. Human beings in general.
It can be expensive.
Yep.
Yeah, it can be expensive. So yeah, ask yourself, what is worth paying for? Really? Maybe it's not certainty. Maybe it's not convenient. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it's significance. Maybe it's comedy. Maybe whatever it is. In this case, it was certainty. It was, yeah, maybe if we pay the extra $15, we'll get to pick our seats early and we know that we'll be sitting in a good spot. Because that would have happened, right? If we bought the tickets on Monday, 4 days ahead of schedule, we would have probably been able to get whatever seat we wanted. That wasn't the case, no worries. But the lesson for us was, hey, next time let's just kick in the extra $15 because we're going to be driving there and we're going to be like, okay, what should we do? Would our relationship would we have had a better relationship weekend if we went and saw the movie? Right? There's a lot of things to dig into.
I would have asked you how it was.
I would have told you I fell asleep 15 minutes in. I have no idea.
I seriously doubt it, man. That movie's got some loud noises.
Doesn't. You think that matters? I love the loud noises. I become one with them. One of the things I used to do when I couldn't sleep is I would play the TV. And don't do this. I'm not saying this is what you should do. But I would play the TV and meditation sounds at the same time. Always put me out. I think your brain can only focus on one thing at a time, not two. That was my thesis. I always fell asleep. Because your brain can't focus on anything. So it just goes away. It's just like,
it just goes out.
So that's
you just put yourself out.
That's my thesis. Very, very scientific. All right. If you are into self-improvement, which you are if you're watching or listening to this podcast, make sure you are subscribed so you never miss an opportunity to get to the next level. I know growth is challenging and life happens, and some days you don't want to learn. I completely understand, but if you get a little notification that NLU just dropped an episode, maybe it'll help you learn that day, a little kick in the butt. So make sure you are subscribed.
And if you want help becoming more successful, that is really my main focus. 24 people that I coach, my main focus is just helping them align with their goals and be more successful. And if you feel like you don't have clarity, you don't have certainty, you don't know which path to take, I've got you. I reverse engineer these things for people all the time. It's my favorite work in the world. It's my favorite work in the world. Helping you be more successful is my favorite work. Please reach out.
As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it optimal. Next Level Nation.